You're watching Chicago Bears Now. I am your host, Harrison Graham. Give me a follow on Twitter. I'm at HGrahamNFL. More Bears info, more NFL info, and a whole lot more on my Twitter page, at HGrahamNFL. Okay, I got a 3-pack of Chicago Bears rumors for you guys today. How about the first one? Franchise tagging Allen Robinson. I think at this point you got to go for Smoking Jays. I can't give it 100% until it actually happens, but this is at about a 99.5% at this point. So we're going to go ahead and go for Smoking Jays. Bear down because it is happening. Franchise tag window officially open today here on Tuesday. If you're watching on Wednesday or Thursday or whatever, it's already open. Now, most teams wait until the March 9th deadline because that's the last day you can tag players before they officially hit free agency. So I'm not expecting the Bears to officially tag Robinson for at least several more days, but it's damn near 100% certainty that Chicago will tag Allen Robinson. We all knew this was coming when they did not get a deal done during the season, when there was the reports coming out early in the offseason that neither side had talked to one another since September. This was the obvious outcome. Allen Robinson will be placed under the franchise tag. I do want to mention, though, that does not mean they can't get a long-term deal done. Even if it gets tagged, both sides have until mid-July to actually get a deal done. So we'll just have to wait and see on that front. But he's clearly going to get tagged by the Chicago Bears, and you have to tag him if you're Chicago. I'm going to continue to rip Ryan Pace for botching this process, but at least tag him, right? At least cover your ass at this point and keep your best player on offense on your team, at least for now. You could certainly tag and trade him. We'll certainly explore that some more on future videos. But you don't just let this production go. At minimum, you tag him and you bring him back for next year for about $18 million because that's what his tag price will be, because it's 120% more than what he made on the last year of his current contract, which was just over $14 million. Rounded up a bit, it's going to be about $18 million against the cap if the Bears tag him for the 2021 season, and I think that's obviously the very likely outcome at this point in time. Now the question is, will A-Rod be with the Bears in 2021? Just because he gets tagged doesn't mean he'll be on the team. They may trade him as well. Type Y for yes, type N for no. We're going to make this the pinned comment on today's video, so if you get hit with the ad break, just scroll on down and answer this question. Next up is the quarterback search on pause. I wanted to explore this one. I'm going to go to Smoking Jays. People are talking. I think there's some intriguing elements to this possibility, and we'll go ahead and kind of roll through them here. Sports Mockery did a write-up on this, and ironically, at times that website is a mockery, but I found this a little bit interesting. To Smoking Jays. They're saying there's a report, according to one of their sources, that the Bears aren't in a hurry to make a QB move. And a lot of you are probably thinking, why not? You got to get a quarterback now, which I agree to a certain extent, but do you just go get a quarterback to get one? Like, are you just like, here, Jets, take a first and a third for Sam Darnold? No, I don't think that's a good idea. More on Darnold in a minute, but I don't think you just panic and go get a quarterback. Kudos to Ryan Pace for not just settling for Carson Wentz. That ended up not happening, which I think, like I said at the time, is the better move for the Chicago Bears. Don't panic and just go get a quarterback. Now, obviously, there's going to be a time, sometime in free agency, around the draft, where you're going to have to make some kind of a decision at quarterback moving forward. So you can't wait forever, but you don't just jump into the pool when it's 35 degrees outside. Like, that's not what you do, unless there's a gun to your head, which there's not a gun to the Bears' head at this point. So you kind of look at the options, right? So top available quarterbacks. Obviously, if you could get Deshaun Watson tomorrow, that's what you do. But as of now, the Texans are refusing calls on him. So does that mean you panic and go trade for Sam Darnold today? I don't think so. Does that mean you panic and sign Jameis Winston on the first day of free agency? I wouldn't. I think he's a fallback option. Teddy B trade? No thank you. Ryan Fitzpatrick, he's like 38 years old at this point. I don't think you panic. And then you got this list of quarterbacks. Less available guys. Because a lot of you guys are, what about Derek Carr? I don't think he's really that available, guys. If you get him, it's probably going to cost you at least 2 firsts, maybe a third. There's chatter that the Raiders might sign Derek Carr to an extension very soon. Dak Prescott. I can't tell you how many DMs I get. You got to sign Dak. What do you think? I appreciate the questions, but the Cowboys are 100% going to tag him if they don't get a long-term deal done. You're not getting Dak. Jimmy G, maybe he becomes more available, but at this point in time, I don't think he's really gettable. I don't think the 49ers have a backup plan at this point. Matt Ryan, same deal. Tua, maybe he becomes available if they get Deshaun Watson or if they draft a quarterback. But at this point, you look at those two lists, who's really available that's worth panicking over and getting right now? Pretty much nobody, which is why I think there's something to taking your time and being patient when it comes to this quarterback search. Now, something you shouldn't be patient on is repping the Bears when you get a face mask at chatsports.com/BearsMasks. Look, you got to keep wearing these. I know it sucks, but you can get these high-quality ones and rep the Bears in the process, and a lot of these are on sale at that link below, chatsports.com/BearsMasks. I believe the NFL will allow fans next season in stadiums, at least limited fans. Probably going to have to wear one of these, though. I think that's probably the likelihood for at least this season. So why not rep the Bears? Chatsports.com/BearsMasks. That link will be in the comments. It'll be in the description. Go ahead and get that done today. I'll also throw this out there in terms of being patient and kind of being at a pause right now. Is it possible the Bears are patiently waiting on Watson? You can't rule it out, right? Because think about what we talked about for like 3 weeks. So Carson Wentz, they're all in on Wentz, all in on Wentz. And then it comes out, well, they didn't make a formal offer. Sure, they did their due diligence, they did their homework, but maybe, just maybe, they're holding out hope for, okay, the Texans right now, they're not going to move Watson. But closer to the draft, when time starts running out, maybe that changes, and maybe a team like the Bears could swoop in and make a blockbuster trade, which is obviously what I'm holding out hope for. Maybe I'm continuing to talk myself into this possibility, but up to now, it's been, 2 months since the Bears season, or a month and a half since the season ended, basically? Bears haven't made a quarterback move at this point. I mean, who's to say they won't wait another month and a half as we get on into free agency and closer to the draft? Obviously, by the draft, you have to make a move, whether that's making a trade, signing a player, or obviously drafting one in April's draft. So all that being said, who will be the Bears quarterback in 2021? Gonna keep asking this question. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. It's hard to say right now, right? I think it could be one of about 7 to 10 guys. Go ahead and predict it for me in the comments. Now, we like to think that we're your number one home for Bears coverage here on YouTube. We crossed 22,000 subs recently, thanks to you guys. We're 13 months into this channel, and we're growing like crazy. Daily videos just for you guys. No one's going to cover this quarterback search like I will. So subscribe if you haven't already. This channel is 100% free. Share that link below with a friend. It's youtube.com/BearsNow. Speaking of quarterbacks, how about a Sam Darnold trade? I'll also give this 2 smoking Jays. Now, maybe it's more like 1.5 smoking Jays, but, I'm going to round up to 2 here. Like, I'm not going to say it's a 50-50 chance, but people are talking. I think there's an increasing likelihood that this could be a possibility, especially with Wentz off the market now, because obviously that's one less quarterback available. Now, the Jets are going to do their due diligence. They're going to monitor this draft class, Justin Fields, Trey Lance. They're going to see what Zach Wilson is all about. And if they like one of those guys a lot, then they'll trade Sam Darnold. But as of now, they may not trade Sam Darnold, but I think in the end they ultimately will. And for the Bears, he might be the most realistic, and I'll put this in air quotes, veteran option for Chicago, because obviously Watson's out there, but a lot of teams are going to be interested, a lot of competition there. We know Sam Darnold has potential. Former top 5 pick, he's flashed, and I know a lot of you guys are saying, what about Trubisky? Well, Trubisky had a little bit of a better situation than Darnold did, so keep that in mind. But speaking of potential, we know what that means, right? He hasn't really shown that nearly enough. Like, he's flashed, we've seen signs of brilliance at times, but we've also seen a lot of inconsistent play from Sam Darnold with the Jets. Now, we have to acknowledge and be fair that his coaching situation was horrendous. The receiving core he was throwing to with the Jets is one of the worst in the NFL. Injury concerns at times. He had the mono issue the one year, but a lot of the blame has to be on Sam Darnold as well. So there is a lot of risk here, but it could be a realistic option for Chicago, so we'll just have to wait and see. I want to know from you guys, Would you be okay with Sam Darnold? Type 1 for yes, type 2 for no. If you're watching live, I'm going to check the updated poll here. 56% of you guys say no as of now, but if you're not watching live, or even if you are, get your votes in on this. 1 for yes, or go ahead and type 2 for no. Would I be okay with it? Maybe. It depends on trade value, and we'll take a look at that in a second. I put a trade together. Obviously, last year it wasn't very pretty, but again, the Jets were an absolute dumpster fire, so I don't think you can place sole blame on Sam Darnold. But, you know, he started 38 games. That's 2.5 seasons worth. It's not like he hasn't had, you know, opportunities to show that he can be a franchise guy. Doesn't mean he can't be. Doesn't mean he won't be. Just means up to this point, he's incredibly unproven. He's been fringe starter worthy in terms of his numbers there, high quality backup worthy. Now, I'd like to see him in a better situation. I'd like to see him throwing balls to Allen Robinson and behind hopefully a rebuilt offensive line. I think that would be intriguing, but who knows what's going to happen with A-Rob? Who knows what the Bears are going to do at quarterback? I cooked this together. I'm curious to see what you guys think on this trade package. Sam Darnold in a 4th to the Bears for the 2nd this year, number 52 overall. That's about what I'm willing to give up. A 2nd, maybe a 3rd. That's basically giving up a 3rd-round pick there for Darnold. Would I do that today? No. But if Watson gets off the market and a couple other guys go too, this isn't the worst trade idea. Let me know. Who wins this trade? Type CHI for the Bears. Type NYJ for the Jets. Again, I'm not like salivating at the idea of getting Sam Darnold, but I think there's worse options out there. I'd rather have him than Nick Foles. I mean, I'd rather do that than run it back with Trubisky. I'd rather take a shot at a guy who's 23, 24 years old with a lot of talent that, you know, maybe hasn't reached his potential. So let me know who wins that trade and give me your overall thoughts on Sam Darnold.